welcome back. Got some tweaks to my spreadsheet, something that I think is going to make things easier to visualize. I'll go over a little bit of what the changes look like, and then I'm going to go over my top 10 plays for game week 34. Obviously, when we get closer to the return after the All-Star break, we'll know more about who's still going to be out and who's coming back. There are only a handful of players who have injury designations that go beyond the return to play late next week. So for most of these teams, I've just come up with minutes estimates that I feel are indicative of a lot of those players coming back. Should give us an idea of who will be a good play coming up. And of course, this is all good information to have this early because it'll give you a chance to pick up some of those guys before they go up in price. So to give you a little heads up on what the changes are here, I'm using game logs to estimate average points per game, average minutes played per game. So per appearance this year, that's how many minutes Tyrese Haliburton's played on average. Standard deviation of 17.1 is obviously based on his game logs. His average points per minute is basically just dividing points by minutes, 1.49. Estimated minutes is what we're looking at coming off of the All-Star break. He's ramping up. Current L10 is 36. Bottom of his range, 33.5. Top of his range, 67.72. And a difference between the top end and the L10 of 31.72. So that's what all these categories mean. We're going to go through the top 10 with you just to give you an idea who the good plays are this week. First look at game week 34. Best play of the week this week is easily Tyrese Haliburton. L10 of 36. Still way too low on a guy capable of high 60s, 31.72 difference between the top end of his normal range for this many minutes and his current L10 of 36. Well ahead of Andre Drummond, who I have second. Andre Drummond is really interesting. So Andre Drummond has started twice recently. Usually he comes off the bench and gets about 16 minutes. In the two games he started, it's been against the Wolves and the Cavs, two teams that are really big up front. So what Chicago is doing is they're just matching up size. Donovan's starting Drummond in those games. Well, guess who they play first game out of the break? They play the Boston Celtics, who start Porzingis and Al Horford. I think Drummond's in there. This game is in Chicago. So hopefully you get news about who's starting before the early games kick off. But even if you don't, let's say Drummond's minutes go down to his normal range of 16, 17 minutes. His high-end upside is still in that 35 range, so you could still play him at 25. He's not nearly as good a play, obviously, but still playable there. And if he starts, let's say he gets 32 minutes, I think that's possible, in the 50s. At a 25 L10. Unless I hear that he isn't starting, I think he's definitely in play. Right now I'm estimating him at 28 minutes. Third guy to talk about this week is Keegan Murray in Sacramento. He's been struggling with his shot recently, but we've seen this guy put up huge games this year. His standard deviation of 14.4 as a regular starter tells you that he has his low games and he has his big games. 22 is really low for him. 45 for a top end. Difference of 23. Put him in your lineup if you've got one. Fourth best play, Jordan Clarkson. Another guy who's been struggling a little bit recently, but another guy with a huge standard deviation and steady minutes. 33 estimated minutes for him. Current L10 of 21. So he's up in that. He can get you in the 40s. De'Aaron Fox in Sacramento's finally put up a couple of big games to get a 62 and a 58. These last couple games, still a 43 L10. A little higher than he has been, but 63.95 for his high-end upside. Huge standard deviation on him. Hopefully he can reignite because he was really good in the first half of the season. He's been struggling a little bit. Over 20, though, for a difference between the top end and the L10, so that's a definite play. 30 L10 now. We have Buddy Hield. He's all the way up from the 21 he was a couple weeks ago, but he's been playing huge minutes for Philly. 38 on average since the trade. That puts him in the high 40s for a top-end score. At 30, you can still play Buddy Hield. He's not as good as he was at 21, but he's still definitely playable. Spencer Dinwiddie signed on with LA. He's been playing his normal amount of minutes. He's been getting right around 30. I estimate him at 29. High-end upside in the high 30s and at a 20 L10. Can throw him in there. I think he's going to continue to play. He's better than the other Lakers options for a sixth man or a bench player. Şengün, little higher end play. I think he's in that $15 or so range, but a really good player. And this is a guy who I really want to pick up. 21 years old. You're going to be able to use him for years. He's a really good player. High-end in the low 50s for a 35. That's definitely in play. Terry Rozier, obviously, we're kind of awaiting word on. His injury report says he'll be a game time decision when they return from the All-Star break. That knee injury he suffered did not look good, though. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this one, but at a 28, I think you can throw him in if he's available. He can certainly score you in the high 40s. Damian Lillard's been struggling a bit. His L10's down to 36, but obviously we know what he's capable of. 1.18 points a minute, 50 54 for a top end. Hopefully he gets things on track. So that's your top 10. First look here at game week 34. Checking some prices on this group. Fox all the way down to $18.92. And you can ignore these L10s. These are for the All-Star weekend. We're skipping that. I don't even know what they're doing. These will change. Fox is going to be a 43. He's $19. I think that's pretty decent for him for a player of his caliber. Murray down at 763. I just picked one of his up because his L10 is going to fall. But as you can see, Drummond's a good deal right now if he's going to start. Dinwiddie's going down to 20. I think he's going to be a popular play. Buddy Hield going up to 30, but still playable. If you have the money and you don't have a Halliburton yet and you want to pick one up, this is a great time to do it. He can win you a week for sure. There's your first look at game week 34. More to come when we get closer to the resumption of play next week. Thanks again for watching. Please like the video. Please subscribe if you like this kind of content. I will bring you updated projections as soon as I can. We'll make sure to get them out early on that Thursday lock day so you have a chance to look things over as you make your lineups. Thanks for watching.